Hi everyone, I'm Paul Bennett from Ashburnham Realty. Sophie has asked me to come talk here tonight about some commercial real estate aspects. One of my true passions is working with commercial businesses and helping them find their true, the match for them in terms of what their space could be like, and that can sometimes be renting, sometimes can be buying. One of the key things that you always want to talk about is when to jump into a space. It's obviously a huge commitment for people, especially now with the huge impact of entrepreneurship in our community. Some people feel that one of the first things they need to do is to actually jump into a commercial space, and that is 100% the last thing you need to do. There's so many different options that you can do from a home-based business, or there's great enterprise work centers in Ptbo. PED and GPIC right now are offering great services that can help you get your business off the ground. You'd be shocked the number of times that I have people come to me with a business plan on a napkin or something, and they feel like the first thing they need to do is get a commercial space. And once again, that is not your first person you're going to talk to. You need to get a solid business plan in place. Whether you're starting or growing your business, you don't want to just jump into a new commitment that is sometimes a 5 or 10 or 15-year lease that can be a big deal if you're not ready for that step. So obviously, one of the first steps is figuring out when you're ready for that step to either go into your first space or grow into another space. And quite often, some of those organizations in Ptbo can help you get through that, and then you can either decide to make the jump in and try through an enterprise center, and then beyond that, you can talk to someone like myself, or there's a lot of other great people in Ptbo who can help you find that perfect space based on the type of business that you are. And so one of the great big things that I sit down when I talk about with new businesses or expanding businesses is exactly what a commercial lease is. In general, you're going to find two types of leases, which is called a triple net lease. And in a triple net lease, you're paying a base rent, and then there's going to be some expenses on top of that. So you'll hear someone come talk to you about TMI and those types of things. Once again, to really read into that, you're going to have to sit down and talk to someone a bit more about that. But you'll also see a gross lease as well. That basically is a base rent plus your TMI. That is a bit more cost certainty for a business. It's something that we try and do a lot more of now, especially for smaller businesses, because it gives cost certainty on a cash flow basis from month to month. Another very important thing to think about when you're leasing is what the amount of money you're investing in the space. People always ask me the length of a lease or how long they want to do it. So quite often people will start at 1 year, and it doesn't make any sense. So I always try and talk from the tenant's perspective in this case. No matter what you're doing from a business, you're going to be investing a great deal of capital in terms of obviously money, cash, but also goodwill in terms of creating a location. You've got to make sure that when you're investing in that location that you're going to be there for a certain length of time. So you might invest $100,000, you might invest $500,000, but there's a lot of other things that you're investing in that location. So from a tenant perspective, as much as it's really scary, it's really smart to get a longer term lease in place. Usually 5 years is a good place to start, or if you're able to start with 3 and do an option for 2, that allows you that bit of a freedom to kind of get started and rolling, but you also protect your location where the money and time you've invested in the location, it allows it to almost defer itself over that 5-year period, and you can protect the business's future. More so probably from an expanding business perspective than a new business is whether people want to rent or buy. Peterborough is an amazing center right now, and real estate does seem to be doing very well, so people are more apt to seem to want to buy, but that's not always the best situation, and there's a lot of things, a few of which I'll touch on right now, of things that you need to think about prior to making that leap in, especially on the buy front. The first one obviously being is resources. Like, you need to have the money to buy the type of place you're looking at, and not only that, to renovate. Renovations can be costly. Another really important thing that I always talk to about some of the businesses about is the value of the money in your business. So depending on the type of business that you are, you might be smarter to invest the money in your business than you are to invest in real estate. Real estate over time has always kind of had its constant return. They say you're making 5 or 6% on appreciation on real estate. If you can spend that same money and invest it back in your business and allow your business to grow at a higher percentage, you're probably much smarter to invest that money in your business than you are in a building. So yeah, definitely in terms of commitment time you're looking at on the renting versus buying, you definitely want to make sure that the location, the type of building you're looking at, it's a long-term commitment that you're looking at. Quite often, whether you're a food service, an office, whatever the type of use you're using for your space, you're going to customize it, and you're going to spend quite a bit of money on that. That's money that you might not get back out in a resale. Say you spent $100,000 customizing your office building, you may not get that same value out of the real estate sale because it's maybe wasted value to the next buyer. So it's really important that you look at the money you're investing as part of your business operating and not something necessarily that you're investing in the real estate asset unless it's over the long term, because you may not get it back in the short term. You don't want to make anything for a short-term play of any kind. If you're going to be in a location for 3 years, you don't want to play around with buying it, because you quite often work to almost tailor the property too much to your own business, and you might have a problem on the resale. It's one thing if you have other units in the building that you're looking at getting, but if you're tailoring it to what you're doing, it could be tough for resale and it could handcuff your business moving forward. So you want to make sure it's a long-term play, at least 7 years, if not 10 plus, and that's when you should look into the world of buying. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully, at least something that I've said has resonated with someone today. A few things that I'd really like to drive home before I end this here now is Ptbo is such a great community, and there's so many great organizations out there now that can help a business either grow or start out. Make sure that you go, before you come see a guy like me or anyone else that has to do with any kind of commercial real estate, make sure you go to some of those organizations like Ptbo Economic Development or Community Futures or GPIC or those groups, and make sure that your business is on the right path, because they're there to help you get there. I can then, or someone like me can come in after the fact and just kind of accent and make sure that you can get to that next step. And I think it's really important that we as a community work together to make sure that we all can grow and become a much better community.